Hello everyone, I'm Benjamin Contreras, and welcome back to another episode of Ben Talks About. Now, today we have reached the finale of my History with Godzilla series, and if you haven't checked part 1, this video won't really make all that much sense, most likely, so you may want to go back to the previous two parts just in case. So, we've talked about my history with Godzilla in toy form. We have, I talked about how I dabbled into his career in the video game industry, and now it's finally time to talk about the thing that I, of course, delayed all the way up to the finale, so that I had probably the most interesting part to talk about, the actual Godzilla films themselves, which I all conveniently have in this DVD case. Now, I'm not gonna be discussing every single Godzilla movie because I haven't watched them all, and 2, this video can only go on for so long. So I'll only be talking about the films that I grew up with. So, with me, of course, growing up in the 2000s, the first Godzilla movie I ever saw, or at least remember seeing, was his most recent film at the time, until the 2014 film came out, and that was Godzilla Final Wars. Now, I used to watch this movie all the time as a kid, but overall, I feel like this is the kind of film that you watch whenever you just want to sit back and have fun, because really, there's a lot of things about the movie that are kind of silly, but really the reason why you would watch the movie is because you'd want to see all these different monsters fighting each other, and that's primarily the reason why I love it so much. And after this, the next part of my exposure to the Godzilla films, I believe, came in this 4-pack of different DVDs from the Showa era, one of which isn't even really a Godzilla film. As you can see the first 3 right there, and you can also see Terror of Mechagodzilla right here. I put all of these movies in their release order. So overall, just to give you my quick overall feelings towards all the films, the original one, sure, it is a classic and is a important film, I guess, in terms of these type of movies. But overall, it's not necessarily my cup of tea. Same goes to films like Rodan, which I think I only saw like one time when I first got this set, and I'm probably not going to watch it again for a while, even though I've heard a lot of really good things about it. Godzilla vs. Mothra, this one is probably one of the most popular in the entire Showa series, and is probably my favorite out of this 4-pack. And the last film, Terror of Mechagodzilla, is just a really sort of strange kind of film, especially when compared to the films that came before it. Now, even though I said that Godzilla vs. Mothra was my favorite out of this entire 4-pack, my favorite overall Godzilla movie in the Showa series, the one that I like the most, is probably King Kong vs. Godzilla. The main reason why is because while the film doesn't really hold up well in terms of quality, none of the original Showa movies really do. So, really the main reason you'd want to go to pretty much any of them is because of how absurd and cheesy they can get, and it's definitely the Godzilla movie of the original series that I saw the most. There is one particular film that I'm sort of skimming over here, but that's mostly because of, one, how infamous it is, and how, considering the fact that I sort of share my opinion with a lot of other people. After that, I collected a few more of the films from the Millennium series, Godzilla 2000 being one of them right here. Not quite sure if you can, not sure if you can see that. But yeah, it is there. And of course, we also have my two favorites out of the entire Millennium series because of the guy that you can see on the front cover there, which if you've been with my channel since the beginning, you know why I like this character. And then after that, I got interested in the second series of Godzilla movies, the Heisei series. And I got a few of the DVDs that have this weird sort of format where there are two movies on different sides of the disc. So in order to watch one movie, you would have to flip the DVD over, which kind of is a bit confusing and odd. Like, why didn't they just separate them into different discs? But yeah, the Heisei series is definitely one that you would. They're the type of movies that you watch for the type of stories they have. You can kind of notice that when you're watching the films and they reference previous films in the Heisei series, and there are a couple of recurring characters in the series, and also because a lot of the fights are kind of lackluster and sort of just boil down to just beam fights the entire time. But I can still appreciate them for the type of films they were trying to be, especially considering their job was to pretty much revive Godzilla after being on hiatus for so long at that time. And the same way I can appreciate the Heisei films for what they were trying to do, I can also appreciate, for pretty much the same reason as the most recent Japanese film, or at least Japanese live-action film that came out for the series, Shin Godzilla, which is a film that I could probably save for an entirely different video, since there's quite a few things that I'd like to talk about it. So, in the, if you are all interested in me talking about it, even though it's been like 2 years since it last came out, if you want to hear my opinions, tell me in the comment section down below. And with all that said, I hope you all enjoyed me going back to my channel's roots. It is sort of cool that I was able to talk about this this character that, you know, I've cherished for, you know, for so long. And I'll probably go back to him in the future once a whole bunch of his other films come out. And yeah, with the month of October so quickly approaching us, I gotta get myself ready for some spooky videos. So, until then, I'm Benjamin Contreras, and bye.